Om Shanti. Lots and lots of loving greetings and a big hug to my Canadian family. Wonderful that you're getting together, and it's the start of your 50 years of celebration of having Baba in Canada. That's beautiful. That makes you one of the very, very early centers to start. And I have to remember Ramesh Bhai, because he's the one who gave us the flat in which Baba's home first started. And I hope you'll contact him and pass on my thanks and good wishes to him wherever he is. I'm not sure where he'll be. But of course, there's been so much sustenance from Didi Mohini, from Kalaben, from Mani Ben, and now for Rakhi, you have Geeta Ben coming all the way from the other side of the continent, from LA, and you have Gopi Ben with you also. And so all good wishes for a beautiful experience of Rakhi and a wonderful celebration for your wonderful 50 years. So many Brahmins have taken birth who can glorify Baba and bring others closer to God. But yes, Eric has been a leading light and he won't want me to mention his name. But it's beautiful that Eric, with all your expertise that's now being used for God's work, has really, really served Canada with love and heart and good wishes. So thank you. And Rakhi, the golden circle of protection that God offers us in Sangam Yug. One story, a fairly recent one, I think maybe it was 2-3 years ago, and it was night, and it was the summer months because it wasn't cold, so it must have been a pleasant time. I saw from my window a lot of people gathering in the street just down below. And then I saw a fire engine and I saw them looking towards where we are. And I thought, my goodness, what's going on? And I was headed to the roof. We have a flat roof where we can go. And Jasuben also was coming to me with the same message because she was seeing it from her window also. And we go up on the roof and we see that the fire is actually right next to us, a building which is a car mechanic building, and we don't know why and what and how, but there's a fire. And the firemen have been in there for a little while by the time we saw them, and they're coming in. I think finally it was about 3 or 4 fire engines that were there, and people were at a distance, safety, but they were watching. And on the roof we see that this building next door is absolutely in flames, and Baba's house is like this close, an alleyway away from that building. And so, in fact, from the cafe, the dining room in Diamond House, you can just almost even touch the building that's adjoining. And we were just sending out good vibrations, yoga power, and then finally it seemed that the fire was put out. And we then went to bed. And people then, of course, also scattered and the fire engines withdrew and so on. We have a fire engine station right next door to us on the other side. So they'd come pretty fast, I reckon. But it was fascinating. And what had happened was there's a lithium battery that had been put on charge and had exploded. And that's how the fire started. But this was now absolute protection from God. Given another few minutes, because fire travels incredibly fast, maybe some minutes later, it would have reached Baba's house. So thank you, Baba. Another short story, and this is from quite a while ago. It was in the 70s, to be precise, 74. And I was working with Jagdish Pai on that book, Raj Yoga Illustrations, you know, that little book. And all the images that were created by Jagdish Pai, I was conveying to the artist who lived right across the river on the other side, and I was commuting between where we were in Kamlanagar at that time and this other place, Krishnanagar, where Dadi Pushpa Rani, I think her name was Pushpa Rani. We called her the Pussycat Dadi when she was in London because her smile was inscrutable, like a little pussycat. But anyway, so she was a sister in charge there, a Dadi. And Atam Prakash Bhai was there in charge of the artists group. So I'd be going by auto rickshaw on my own across Delhi to the other side of the river. And Didi came to Delhi and she said, "Aren't you going to the Kumbh Mela, Didi Manmoini?" And I didn't know anything about it. And Jagdish Bhai said, "Well, we're occupied, Didi." And Didi said, "One day won't make any difference. Okay, so both of you come along." And of course, when Jagdish Bhai then went, he needed to stay longer. They were asking him for various things. And the big gurus were all there. It was a Kumbh Mela at Haridwar. And I had made a commitment to do my work, my bit of it. And I had to leave early the next morning. So we're there all day. Didi's going to stay on. And I leave because Dadi Gulzar is leaving. And Gopal Bhai with her. And Gopal Bhai's younger sister Kanan. She's also with me in the car. So Gopal Bhai in the front, and we didn't have our own cars in those days, 70s. And it was a hired car with a driver. The driver, Gopal Bhai, and it was, of course, one of those sturdy ambassadors. And you had a bench seat. And in the back seat, it was Dadi Gulzar on one side, me in the middle, and Kanan on the other side. And we leave at 4 o'clock from Haridwar. About 6 o'clock, we're near Gurgaon. Now, of course, it's very different. At that time, literally just a little village, a one-street village. And the light is just coming up, faint. You see everything a little bit hazy. And it's a long, long road. And it's somebody who's sort of bent, an old man who's there. And he's dithering whether to cross or not cross. And it was just the one main road in the village. And the driver's not going very fast. You didn't in those days. But by the time we actually come close, I hear an impact. And the car has hit this old man. The man has decided to walk at the wrong moment. And so it wasn't the driver's fault at all. But there's a hit. And the car then goes across the road to where there's a auto rickshaw, smashes into that, and then it ricochets the other side and comes to a standstill by a tree. And the first thought is, how is everyone? And meanwhile, what has happened, everyone in the car was fine. Dadi Gulzar hit her head against the bench, so just a tiny little bruise, nothing more. And she's been looked after by Kanan and Gopal Bhai. And this sleepy village, in which there was only this one old man, whether it was the noise or the vibrations, but the whole village has come out by now. Big crowd of men, only men. And I would have been about 23 at the time. And short hair, I didn't even have a plait still. My hair was growing. And in a white sari. I'm probably looking younger than 23. But I see this big gathering of men and big noise. And where's the driver? And instinct tells me he's there in the middle. And so there's no time to talk to anyone. I just stride across. And I suppose the surprise of seeing a young woman in a white sari. And they make way for me. And sure enough, in the middle of that crowd was the driver. And they're about to beat him up. They're just moving forward to hit him. And I go out there, and must have been Baba, because I knew very basic Hindi. I put my arms out and I say, "Stop, stop, wait, the police are coming." I had no idea if in India they call the police, or how do they call the police? There's no mobile phones. I didn't know, but I just said, Baba's touching. The police are coming. And they were so shocked. They just stopped. They, just for 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute. And thankfully, the police came and they took the man away. And whatever happened, he was free. It wasn't his fault. But that was really God's touching. Go there, do something. But also it was God's protection, because they could very easily have beaten me up. But at that moment it was just, Baba, do something. And that's what happened. So truly, Baba does protect us, but Baba also gives us the courage at that moment. You don't even see it as courage, you see it as, I have to do this, to protect others too. Protection for them too, because it would have been quite a big story if they had actually massacred this man. But drama and Baba and everything turned out fine. So enjoy your retreat, enjoy your celebrations, and enjoy Baba's company and protection and Rakhi. Om Shanti.